Well, should we talk about ADR 29? The rev
sure.
share?
Yeah.
I think we're still
about 50% approval. So we need another. Actually, I think Boone's got a tool for that.
And I know, so Scorch he put in some criticisms in Discord in the group chat, and I replied, but maybe I'll go over it again. So the rev share is basically like, if you click on a link to Amazon, somebody's website, buy this toaster and you go to Amazon, they're going to get a kickback from Amazon, right? But you pay the same price, whether you found the toaster on Amazon yourself or you're clicking on that website's link.
Right.
And this is generally how all referral links in the world work. And, we basically want to do the same thing for THORChain. Because as everyone should know, that the only way these wallets interfaces make money is they add a fee on top of THORChain. And so, and I've been talking to a front end for several months now. It's been a long sales cycle about getting THORChain integrated. And they don't like the model of adding fees on top. They like the rev share model. That's what they would prefer to use. And so when I ran it by Chad, he's like, okay, let's do it because this is an integration worth getting. And then in general, it's just, Chad can attest to this, and especially the calls I've been on, all these platforms have slightly different interests and desires, how they want to make money, what their goals are.
Legal boundaries, what they say. Yeah.
Like you think, oh, they just want to make money. Well, they do, but how? Some of them they just want the cheapest quote possible. Some just want to focus on stable coins. Some only want a rev share. They don't want to add a fee on top. Like there's all these nuances to it all. And I think, Chad, what you've been doing great over the last few months now is like taking in all this feedback and like, okay, we can do anything. We tell us what you want and we'll make it a reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the rev share is just another tool in our toolbox to get more volume, to get more integrations, right? More partners. And part of me actually thinks this might actually become our default way to get new partners, new platforms, instead of them adding the fee. Because if I think this is an overall problem with these wallets websites, is everyone's fees are just way too high compared to sexes. If we want to get all this volume of sexes onto THORChain, we have to compete on price. It's one thing if we're like 20% more expensive, that's fine, but 1,000 times more expensive, it's so hard to compete.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes 5 years down the road, all of our partners are just doing rev share. And then we maybe adjust our min fees to, offset it or whatever. But it's really no different than your dynamic fee model, Chad. This is just, at some point we have to pay. We have to give up money somewhere, somehow. This is just another lever, another way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest risk or criticism or concern should be existing partners and wallets. Are they going to get the rev share? I'm of the position no, at least not yet, because that will just result in just a drop in revenue right off the bat, right? Without any commensurate increase in volume. So the what's the word? The spirit of this new feature was to offer to new partners, new integrations. Now, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth or contradict myself. SwapKit is really interested in this. And I think it really does make sense for SwapKit because the way they're structured is so different than just your average wallet, right? And they're very confident they can actually use it to increase volume.
Right.
And if every other wallet can come to us and give us that same pitch, hey, you'll get more volume from us with the rev share. Okay, let's try it. We'll do it, right? So SwapKit made that pitch to Chad. I think it makes sense. And at minimum, we just try it.
Right? Yeah, it's very low risk, right?
Yeah. Like it's not like we're risking losing a hack or anything like that. We got to try things like this. So,
Right.
um, in my mind, this shouldn't be too controversial, but I know some people had some reservations. So yeah, maybe I'll stop there. See, Chad, if you want to add anything to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's definitely worth the experimentation. I think what matters in some ways is about like how the tool is used amongst the business development part of the team here, and just having clarity, and not just doing it in a kind of in a dark room somewhere in the back, whatever. But when we want to enable this feature for this new wallet, whatever this wallet is, or partner or whatever, I would like us to see, we as the biz dev side of the team, to kind of tell the community, we want to enable this wallet or this affiliate for 20% or whatever the number is going to be. Here's why we want to do it. Here's our argument of why it's beneficial, and see how it goes. And if we actually end up losing volume or losing fees because of it, then if we just undo it, it's like not a big deal. But I do want to be very clear with the community, but like, we're not just going to apply it to everybody all the time. I think it's a surgical tool in some ways for when it really makes sense, and it's a way for, to put another, like, tool in Batman's belt, aka Randy's belt, to be able to pull in new wallets and integrations, and with the more tools we give him, the more powerful he more or less is, and the easier it is for him to convince these organizations or wallets or whatever to integrate. And so it's about arming him with as much artillery as we can, so that he can do his job as effectively as possible, right? And it was kind of funny because I was talking to him about this, during while we were in Canada together, and it's funny, like, we're putting pressure on the biz dev side to land new clients and more volume and fees and blah 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 and all these things, and then at the same time, I'm doing a lot of work to make us just more competitive and just win more, within the swap kit aggregators or Rango or whatever. And so, like, we're kind of burning the candle at both ends, in a matter of speaking, and we just need one of us to be successful rather than the both of us. It's kind of a funny little thing there.
And well, speaking about the biz dev, just one thing that happened while I was on vacation. Like, we got a whole swath of new partners, affiliates, people signing up to get the API key or the
Mhm.
widget. So I think we're at like 44 now.
Oh wow.
Now,
What?
yeah. But some of them I think are
Whoa.
spam because I don't know. We get to hear back from maybe several, 7 or 8 of those are spam. But yeah, because we got that affiliate page going now on STO where people can sign up. Like, we're trying to streamline the process and make it easier. And so that's still a work in progress. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of new signups.
This is
So,
for the widget specifically? Am I understanding correctly?
well, you get both. You get the API and the widget. So whatever you want to
Okay.
do, however you want to integrate THORChain, right? And so I'm not sure exactly what they want to do. Um, I have had people reach out. They want the API key to test, to play with. And so I don't know what they're building or working on. But no, most of these sites are all existing. They're all functioning platforms. I don't know what their volume's like. So maybe they're doing $100 a month or whatever, right? But
Whatever.
but what matters is that
100 today, 100 million tomorrow.
exactly.
Oh, baby.
And for me, what I take out of it is, like, people are paying attention. I don't know if they're finding this organically or they've been paying attention to THORChain for years and now they're signing up, or they just found out about THORChain 2 weeks ago. Like, for me, this is huge because it's like, we're not even like, I've done zero work on advertising it. Like, I've not put anything out, and we've already had 40, I think it's 44
Yeah.
people. So, like, well, the only advertising is this, on our podcasts and whatever on socials, right? But there's been no real, like, thinking, effort, push, money gone into it. So, I think it's a great start, right? And this is great. This is good. So, so yeah. So if any affiliates out there listening, yeah, the affiliate page is a way for you to manage your integration with THORChain. So you sign up, we approve you, that generates your your API key, and then and the code for a widget. And you can also put in your Thor name and my name and assign the fee you want to charge, and then also manage how you want to be paid out. You don't have to collect Rune on the trades. You can get Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero when it launches, right? Any tokens that trade on THORChain, you can get, that's what you can get paid out in. And
Stables.
so stables. So that dashboard is there for you to manage all of that and try and make it easy for you. And then there's also a tab with all your earnings. So that was a request from a couple front ends actually. They wanted to be able to log in and see what all their earnings are, how much money they're actually making off their THORChain integration. So I expect that interface to continue to evolve as I get more feedback. And so if anybody is already in there and there's things you'd like to see or something doesn't look right, let me know. This interface is for you. So I want to make it as user-friendly for you as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm excited for what we can do with that when we start getting it out there. Cause you couldn't be more right, Chad. Like, just because a platform has zero volume now, who knows what's going to take off, right? And like, this is the beauty of being an entrepreneur, of starting a business or whatever, right? And like, and this is the beauty of THORChain.
And it's just little cost to us. Like we don't.
It's zero cost. Yeah.
Yeah. So it might as well, even if 9 out of 10 of them, collapse or go nowhere.
Yeah.
The 10th one goes somewhere. You want to be there integrated from day one and have that partnership relationship early on.
Yeah. Like, that's what I would love to see, thousands of array API keys out there. And someone might be wondering, well, why do we have it gated? Like, why do you have to have an account to get the API key and all that kind of stuff? Shouldn't we be permissionless? Well, one, people can't interact with THORChain, right? They can integrate directly with THORChain, do the code themselves. That's fine. This API key is just to make it easy, to streamline the process, right? And if we leave it totally permissionless, we can get spammed. DDoS.
Yeah, you can get rate limited as well. If you're not using the API key, then enough API queries per minute or whatever, the server's just not going to serve you because you could be malicious, you could be not malicious. By having an API key, we can give you a little higher quotas or whatever. Yeah. So.
And then the other part of it is, well, we are putting resources into creating it, maintaining it. So the cost of that for the user is your data. I know everyone Web3, you're supposed to own your own data, but like, by data, I mean, we just want your contact info. We want to create a relationship with these people.
Yeah.
We want to start telling on group chat, hey, how's it going? So whenever these new requests come through, we have a group chat with me, Randy, in the platform, and just start putting a human touch on it. So that
and by the way, if you don't want to do that because you want to protect your data or whatever, you can run your own infrastructure.
Yeah,
there's nothing stopping you from, then you don't need an API key, and you can hit that server all live long day, with no issue whatsoever. You can run your own infra. That's fine too. There's no gatekeeping here. It's just that if you want to use the free service, we'll help you, but you just got to give us a little something in return, which in this case, a little bit of data.
Yeah. So that's it. Like, we're not tracking anything else. There's no like sign your life away, anything like that. Yeah, because it's still, well, even with AI coming, I think the need for human connection is even more important. And with sales, I don't think that's going to change. So the sooner we can build relationships with all our partners and have that human touch, I think the better. And that that'll help us win over time. So yeah,